Alright, of course it's raining, but I promise I'd do an intro of the whips today. So here we go. It's gonna take me a while to get over there. I just trained legs like 2 days ago, so my legs aren't really working. Alright, here we go. This is the sweet Forerunner. Just kidding, that's my stepdad's. Alright. We'll talk about this rolling oil leak last. I guess we'll start with the Coupe. Less to talk about. So, I moved down here last Tuesday, and this had come up for sale about a month prior. And I had been talking to the guy, and it didn't seem like he was willing to wait for me to move. To sell it to me. So I had the guy bring it to my uncle's shop down here, and he looked it over for me, and my cousin gave me a list of what was wrong, and it was just, seemingly minor stuff. It's only the Brighton, so it's got the 1.8. Still all-wheel drive, obviously, but pretty much all CV axles need to be replaced because the boots have been torn for God only knows how long. The clutch probably needs to be replaced sooner rather than later. Rocker cover gasket leaks, which, that's pretty much any EJ engine at some point or another. Let's see. There's lots of little shit that needs to be done. Lots of little shit. Had I known about most of it, I would have been more reluctant to pay as much as I did. But I bought it, so I'm gonna keep it, and we're gonna fix it. Alright. So it's got STI interior, STI seats, STI carpeting, sorry. Steering wheel is very ugly. This crap is all loose and cracking. Airbag lights on. Horn doesn't work. I'm assuming there's an issue with it in the steering wheel, so I'm just going to put the wheel from my bug eye in this after I get an STI wheel for the bug eye. The dash really isn't too bad. I don't hate it. There's some trim bits, obviously, that are cracked that I'll be replacing, but as far as the dash goes, I'm probably just going to flock it. Center console it's pretty ugly. It's cracked. I'll probably look into getting a double din and getting a new trim piece here, as well as actually mount this shift boot in there. I just shoved it down in there to try to drown out some of the noise from the transmission. Other than that, in here I've ordered fabric to match the seats that I'm going to wrap this in. I need to get some fabric adhesive as well. I went to Joann's Fabrics, but they didn't have it. Probably wire in a cleaner fog light switch, because this one's pretty atrocious, and I feel like the guy probably spent more money on this than one that would have looked more correct. And this is my sweet horn button. It sounds atrocious. I have no idea what this is. Let's see, the windshield wiper the windshield wiper motor was out when I bought it. I'm missing this whole trim piece back there. Other than that, I guess I could turn it on. It don't sound too bad. I haven't been underneath it yet, so I don't know what exhaust on it. I'm gonna guess it's probably just straight piped. She's cold. So, we go pop the hood. Sorry, this is going to be kind of long and drawn out, but wanted to give a good intro. So here we go. This warm point, not so great. So the car used to be green, obviously. I have plans to wrap it cement gray with my buddy Keegan when he flies down here. So far I've already put these LED strips in the first video. I don't know if you watched it or not, but I show them working. I guess I'll flip the switch now. I like this rain though. It makes this horrible flat black paint job not look so atrocious. But then again, I don't like the rain because it's raining. Alright. So yeah, they're tied into the turn signals. Amber, cool stuff. So, when I got the car, I was missing this bolt. And this one had backed its way out. And the hood flew up when I was driving, which was pretty horrible. Which is like before, about a year ago in my old S10. And I never thought it would happen to me, but it happened twice within about a year. Anywho, so I pull over, blind, and the hook is still latched in the latch. And I kind of beat it back to shape enough that it would close. But it's all bent, you know. And so I get home and I bend it the right way, and then it won't latch, like kind of like it's doing now. And I'll worry about that later. Gotta bend it to a funky shape just to get it to latch fully. So I'm gonna say that I need new hood latches as well as a new hood, which I will probably just deal with the way it is right now. Because, I mean, I've driven it about 50 miles on the highway and there's been no issues with it trying to come up. Again, it just looks disgusting with these gaps and these dents everywhere. But, there's that. It's got coilovers on it. I don't know what brand they are. The guy said they were fully adjustable, but I don't see any dampening adjustments anywhere. We'll figure that out sooner or later. I'll shut this race car off. It's 22 miles per gallon though, so I really like that. And I also just found a great deal on Hawkeye WRX brakes. So that'll be coming on in a future episode. If Emily's watching, sorry, I couldn't pass up the deal, so I had to spend it's $100 for brakes, front and rear, rotors, pads, calipers. If I can get a sweet deal, I might do stainless steel brake lines on it as well. I just put these wheels on there. It had Hawkeye WRX wheels on there before, and they sunk in and sat pretty ugly, way in there, especially with the flares. So I got these. They're just cheap, but they work and they look decent. 17 by 7.5. This is not curb rash all the way around it. That's the whatever lubricant they put around the tire to mount them. 235 45 17s on there. I think the offset's like plus 40, so it fills out a little more. I'm just thinking maybe like a half-inch spacer, but I don't want to come and run into the same issues I ran into on this turd, with clearances not being enough and having to raise it really high so I don't rub on the flares. And this is the money pit. I've had this since 2000, I want to say 14. So we'll go over the goodies before I turn it on. So this has STI front and rear seats. I got this carbon trim stuff, and I have this fake overlay stuff over here, but I have the actual carbon trim pieces in the garage that I just got a sweet deal on. So I'll be throwing those in probably soon. I guess I could record it and show you guys. I want to match this sweet access port. I wrapped the door cards in this Marvel comic stuff, and I probably need to redo it. Actually, I might do it the same, because I ordered like 2 headliners worth of fabric for the other car. So if I have enough, I might redo these, because this is just, I don't know, it's cool, but it's getting old. I got 04 STI 6-speed full swap, trans, drive shaft, axles, hubs, only the rear hubs. I only need the rear hubs. because it was 04, so it was still 5x100. And Brembo brakes. I got it all for $1,200, which is, I know, ridiculous. Sometimes I get lucky. I got this gauge pod that's trash. Won't mention the brand, but I do have an ATI one in the garage that will be going in there, that actually clips in like the clock did. STI cluster, my WRX one crapped out, and I got a sweet deal on that one. It was $90. My buddy had it, and said that the tachometer didn't work. I was like, well, you know, having no tachometer is better than not having any gauges working at all, which was my case. So I got that for $90. Plug it in, and it's working fine. I don't know what was up with his car, but it didn't like that cluster. My car does. All right, so recently got some powder work done. The brackets, Subi Bro Hella horns, these caps, bypass valve, intake manifold, and the rocker covers. I don't know if you can see them down there. Yep. And then I got the end pieces for the sway bar done black, as well as the pulley cover, and then I got the hardware done gold. Let me see. So we've got the engine front mount kit, which is supposed to be an excellent match for the VF series turbos. I might go with a slightly bigger core in the future. We'll see. I don't know. VF34 turbo, which I got for free. I might make an episode elaborating on all my deals. You know what? No, we're here. We're going over it, so we'll do it. So I had a VF30 turbo, and then my buddy in Texas, Connor Nolan, was selling this VF34. I got it for $300. He shipped it. Package got lost in Dallas. Sat in Dallas for about 10 days, and then USPS was like, "Oh, well, we lost the package. Sorry." And the next day, it showed up on my doorstep. So that was cool. These Fortunato 500 coilovers I got for $100. I was a guy in Virginia that was trading in his Hawkeye, and I went to trade him. I had a K&N intake, and he had a pair in, so I wanted a pair in. Traded that, and I was like, well, they're not going to give you anything extra for your coilovers, so why don't you swap them with I had KYB struts and some lowering springs, and I said, I'll trade you plus $100, and we did it right there in this apartment complex. So the come-ups are real with this one. So it's a Turbo XS, fully recirc, bypass valve. I've got 2016 STI 565cc injectors, Locks 255 fuel pump, had a Pierberg electronic boost control solenoid, but now I have a Grimspeed 3-port. Parent intake, we already went over that. Aluminum radiator. My Mishimoto one took a shit, so I'm rocking this eBay one that's been working just fine. Also eBay hoses, which have been working just fine, just had to trim the lower one. I got this sweet overflow reservoir along with a washer tank. Got those from my buddy Joey Charland for a sweet deal along with the turbo reservoir. I think that's it up here. Oh, and the sweet window that I made. Oh, I got the Moret headlights. How could I forget? And this happened. Parking cones are harder than you'd think, but it was either hit a raccoon and risk destroying the intercooler or hit a cone, and I didn't think the cone would do that much damage, but it did. Eventually, I guess rallylights.com has replacement lights for those, and they're on sale for like $70 right now, so it's not too bad. I got this splitter for free, and my sweet wish.com torsion bars there. So we'll close this up. Alright. I'm probably going to get a better built one. It wasn't bad for my first try, but it cracked on the way down here from Virginia. I got these flares. I don't know how long ago. And then I needed some meat to fill them out. Actually, I think I got the wheels and tires first. And they're Audon, I guess you would pronounce it. DSO1s. They are 18 by 9s, I believe. With a 1-inch spacer. I didn't need 1 inch to clear the Brembos, but I had them in the garage, so I threw them on. My Panda. that Justin Chapman up in Washington State made me before I moved. There's some of my Instagram. Old sticker. I need a new one. Actually, Keegan was supposed to send me one. Yeah, if you guys need any vinyl stickers or, you know, Instagram tags or anything, hit up Keegan. I'll drop his Instagram name in the description of this. I've got 2 Rally Armor mud flaps because the fronts got ripped off the first time I turned left and right with those massive wheels and tires on. I'm a fake bro with my STI wing on my WRX, but honestly the only thing that's still STI is the block. Which, when I spun a rod a few years ago, I probably should have just bit the bullet and bought a 207, but I was young and dumb, so I didn't. I haven't washed it in probably 6 weeks. And I was planning on this weekend, but it is very cold. It's like 40 is the high for today, which is very cold to me. Even though I've lived in Germany and Washington and really cold places. Alright. So I guess we can start this turd. Hey, I found a comb. I thought I was all out of combs. We'll start it and we will turn the heat on because it's cold as soon as I can find the keys. And I'm very sorry for the horrible video quality. I'm using my phone right now. We just moved here, like I said, last week, so my GoPro's in storage. I'm going to fish it out this week. And it would help if I used the right key. Check engine light on because Subaru. Neutral safety switch. There's an issue with it. I don't care enough because it's still starting. When it becomes enough of an issue that it won't start, I will worry about it then. So, let's see. I went to go get tuned. I had been tuned by Eric at Torque Performance before, and I loved his tune. It was e-tuning, so I did it through data logging with the access port. If you watched the previous videos, you saw me drag racing. I think I only got 1 link up there because Facebook wouldn't let me download the other videos. But that was stock turbos, stock fueling. I think the only thing I had was an intake and full exhaust, and it was pretty damn quick. He did a great job tuning, and then he gave me some revisions when I got my VF30, and I did VF30, and then injectors, fuel pump, and I had already had the 3-port. I had the 3-port the first time I tuned, so I lied. I had that before. So he gave me that tune, and it was like a whole nother car. I was like, sweet, this is awesome. But then about a year down the road, I'm in Virginia. I get the ball bearing 34 in, which I was told I didn't really need. Sorry, someone just messaged me. I lost my train of thought. I didn't really need to retune for the VF34 because it was about the same size and the same, flowed the same amount of air as the VF30. So it wasn't an immediate necessity. So I waited, and then I got the front mount kit on, and then I went external wastegate, but I didn't put the bracket on. And there's a Grimspeed bracket to keep the wastegate actuator from opening. Anyways, I didn't put that on until it was time to tune. And I wanted to go through Eric, but I thought that I would rather dyno tune. Well, I knew I would rather dyno tune because I was like, no, it'll be a lot faster just to get on the dyno, get it done, 1 day in, 1 day out. And then issues happened. So this is, I want to say April of last year was my first attempt, and I had swapped the 6-speed in February, that previous February. And so they said that, he said, you got the 6-speed in, but you don't have a DCCD controller, so you need one. So I went and ordered the DCCD Pro from Spyder, and should have gotten the package that let you do all the things with the DCD on the dash, but I didn't because I suck. Anywho, so I wired that in. I still need to swap these to the stock 04 STI switches and knobs and, put them where they should go, but there's been more pressing issues. So that was the first thing. Second thing was the intercooler. It's got you got the main body of the intercooler and the little runners that come off. Well, the end of the runners weren't flared, so it's blowing couplers. And then so that was the issue with that. And he was like, yeah, just do that, get those flared, get T-bolt clamps all around, which I did not expect T-bolt clamps to be expensive as they are. I think I paid like almost $200 for all the T-bolt clamps and new silicone couplers. Anywho, so I got that done, and it cost me like, I want to say like $120 to get the edges of the intercooler flared. So then, I get that done. I go back, and he's like, and it's like, he says, we can't tune you. This is why. Oh, that makes sense. Got it. But then you get put on the waiting list again, so it's another 6 weeks before you can try to tune again. And it's like, I have all this stuff done within 3 days to get it back on the dyno, but I gotta wait 6 weeks. So it's one thing and another thing and another thing. And the next time it was the boost control solenoid failed on the dyno, so that was fun. And I literally had bought a replacement within 45 minutes of leaving the shop. Excuse me. But again, I had to wait. The 6 weeks to get back on the dyno. And then, all said and done, I think it was like July I finished tuning, and it's like, oh man, finally. And I could have just tuned through Eric and been done in a couple weeks. And the car only made 268 horsepower, which was disappointing. I was expecting closer to 290, 300. But I think I'm going to have Eric retune me. I just need to find some roads where I can safely do third gear pulls and not be arrested. And so, yeah, that's the plan with this car, just to retune it. Maybe eventually when I get a place with a garage, I will buy a spare motor. I mean, they're a lot cheaper down here than anywhere else I've ever lived. I think there was a guy selling a 205 for like $500, and just tear it down, put some forged internals in it, So just to make it a little more reliable. I'm not shooting for crazy numbers in this car. I'd be happy around 320, 330. And I think I could get that with a better intercooler core and maybe some fueling adjustments. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. But it's awesome. I love the car. When it drives right, it's awesome. It's been having this weird power loss issue recently. Just intermittently decides that it wants to feel like it's towing a boat. Wastegate opens up. Sounds awesome. I might do a test trip later. I don't know yet. So yeah, the plans are just general maintenance. I'd like to eventually paint it. I'd like to mold the flares onto the body and side skirt spats, if you will, onto the side skirts for this one. And then this is going to be the main project. I really want to H6 swap it in AG33, probably NA for a good while. How long it'll be until I actually do that, God only knows. Depends on a lot of factors, honestly. I mean, the AG33s aren't hard to come by. Well, they're not too hard to come by. When you do find them, it's usually a pretty good deal. And then it's just a lot of wiring, which I follow Easy on Cars. You guys should follow them if you like Subaru things. And he's got a H6 swapped Hawkeye, and that thing's amazing. And I think I sat down an entire weekend and just non-stop binge watched the whole build, and just ignored everything else going on with the world because it was pretty damn interesting. And it's like, yeah, I want to H6 swap that eventually. But for now, that's the daily. That's the reliable daily. And if you're wondering, there should be another car behind the motorcycle, but there's not, because Emily takes the 2012 Legacy 3.6R to work. So it's not there. Which, don't tell her I said this, but that's probably my favorite car right now. It's very comfortable, super easy to drive, and I love that the power's there and there's no wait for any spooling, and it's just, and those H6s are crazy reliable. Honestly, I wish I'd have done more research earlier into my Subaruing, if you will, and I probably would have gotten something H6 swapped. Excuse me. Everyone in my family's been getting sick, and I'm really hoping I'm not getting it. I know I've just been yapping a while, but if you do Subaru, then it's probably not too boring for you. If you guys have any questions about anything, I'm sure there's a lot I didn't cover. Feel free to comment, and I will be sure to answer them. I think I have a whopping 8 subscribers currently, which I expected to have like 3 or 4. So 8 isn't bad, so long as people are actually watching. More content, hopefully, the people will see. But I know probably next episode isn't going to be anything crazy. I'll put the trim pieces in, I'll put the ATI pod in. On the Legacy, we got some muffler deletes to put on, and we have a Subtle Solutions 1-inch lift to go on the Legacy. So we'll do that hopefully soon. We're trying to get gaskets for the exhaust, and nobody has them. I'm gonna disconnect